give it up for Mike Shinoda and Emily Armstrong. So you weren't aware there were going to be people in here? We're standing out in the hallway. She goes, "Oh shit, there's people in there."
She knew, but then she didn't.
I knew.
Yeah.
But then I forgot, and then
Yeah.
I remembered, and then of course I was like, yeah, of course there is.
Well, this is just supposed to be a casual thing. These are all mega super fans, obviously. I mean, you guys get that every week.
We are mega super fans of them.
We are.
Yeah.
We've got all of your albums.
Yep.
We
Yep.
love your entire catalog.
Mike, a pleasure to see you as always. Many, many years running into each other, me working in different cities, and you still in the same band. Maybe Fort Minor, like in a thing with those guys at some point,
That's
or
right.
different
That's
things
right.
that you're doing on the side. You're traveling the world and going to talk to other musicians and collaborate with different people. Emily, this is the first time I get a chance to meet you, and I gotta say, I've been very excited to meet you. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here today, but the one thing I wanted to say is, I mean, everybody in this room can say the same thing. We're all massive Linkin Park fans. Have been. I was telling these guys, way back in the day, standing outside of a Family Values stores when I first met you. You guys were handing out your stuff. I'm like, these dudes are hustlers, and you guys are the same people today than you were back in that time. So that's something I've always appreciated about you. In particular, Mike. You're just such a sweetie,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
But appreciate that.
And so, obviously, is
my
he not
mom,
sweet?
I hope my mom is listening. My mom will be so happy
Emily's
to hear
laughing.
that.
Is he not sweet? She's laughing like she knows something.
That's so great.
Of course.
Oh yeah. No, but
I could see her wheels turning. Like, should I
Yeah.
throw Mike under the bus right now?
It's all about the pause, though.
Yeah. She understands the timing of the whole thing. But anyway, so you guys mega successful, millions of albums sold, touring around the world, and then everything changed. And before we get to the new album, that's the part I've always been kind of interested in. Is when that day happened, what was the initial just kind of vibe of like? Was that it at that point? Did you think that was it, or do you think you'd be here today talking about something like this?
Well, I mean, let's get a little broader, I think, because it's like in the course of a few years, right? I did a lot of things. Like I did the post-traumatic record afterwards because I needed to do it. It was it's almost like a diary or something, and then went on tour with that and probably overdid it there, and just meaning that it was really emotionally exhausting. So then when I came back from that, it was like, okay, I'm starting with a real blank slate, and I had talked to the other guys in the band a few times, and we were all very tight and communicative and all those things. But we would try and get together and work on things, and it wouldn't really pick up any momentum. So after a while, I started doing stuff with other people and meeting other artists, and that's when I in 2019 I met Emily. I mean, I think we were talking about this. I think I knew your name from before that, but 2019 was when we connected and got in the studio and did a couple sessions, and then there was the gap of 2020 and all that.
So was that just you two at that time?
Well, we just I was doing sessions with lots of people. It wasn't I wasn't searching for a singer for Linkin Park. I was just doing sessions.
I mean, you did that. You were going
I just
around,
wanted.
you were going around
the
world doing things.
When I came home, I just wanted to I took a little break, took a breather. I started doing some stuff with different people just to see, to cleanse my palate, try different things, meet new people, learn. For example, learn what younger writers and producers and creators are doing. So doing sessions with people that were many, many years younger than me, doing sessions with people that only do sessions that aren't artists who put out albums, stuff like that. So just exploring a little bit, and as part of that I did meet Emily. And then later, after COVID, I did a session with Colin Britton, and it was with Jake and Jake Torrey and Elijah Knoll, and instantly just love those guys, and Colin especially. I just felt like we had this chemistry. So long story short, yeah, moving into closer to 2022, 23, got back in touch with Dave and Joe about like, I could feel the momentum kind of starting, like people's, like those two guys in particular, something had clicked, like something had changed in the way they wanted to do things, and then things just started moving.
I'm not at all an artist or a musician of any kind, but I can imagine that that's just not one of those jobs. Like a lot of us, we can get up and we can drive to our job and just kind of, push and power through it. I can't imagine that doing what you guys do, being creative, creating music, touring, is something that you can do unless you're really into it. I mean, I think there's some people at a certain point in their career maybe are kind of going through the motions, playing the county fair circuit, I guess.
Can you? We haven't talked about this like in an interview or whatever. Would you be able to just like get up every single day and just like force yourself to write stuff, to write a song every day?
I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like I
really
could
could?
too.
Yeah.
Even if you're not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've tried it.
Yeah,
I've already done that.
The the outcome of it is not going to be good every day.
Yeah.
But you got to show up. Like you got to just if you
writers
decide,
say, like people who write, like
Yeah.
Journalists or whatever, they
It's
write
important.
every day.
Yeah. I
Comedians,
actually
they
should be
write
doing
every
that. I should. Yeah.
Should be doing that.
it's
You're
good to keep the
making me.
muscles- to
Yeah.
keep the
Yeah, yeah,
muscles,
Yeah.
like,
I should do,
warmed up.
even if it's like a paragraph or
Yeah.
something.
So-
Something.
So what was that? So you were talking to the other guys, like then what was the? I'm assuming that you're psyched. I mean, you're coming in, you're playing with these guys, and
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yes. See.
She's on it today, man.
yeah,
She's
she
in a
knows.
mood. I don't know what I did wrong.
I'm jet
I
I
get
don't
it.
know what I
I
did.
get it. You don't want to.
I apologize
You don't
ahead
want
of
to come
time.
off too excited. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no,
Because then it's
she
like,
definitely doesn't want to come off too excited. That is her thing. By the way, she's laughing.
because it's true.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that had to be super exciting. You're in the
Yeah.
you're in the studio and you're playing with these guys because I know you were a fan. Everybody
Mhm.
is, but I mean, you were as a
Of
musician,
course.
you're a fan going in.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. It's so, I mean, it's so hard to describe. It's like, because I know how like lucky I am, you know, and it's like being able, it's like they're big shoes to fill, obviously. So there's like so much that goes on in like that role of being like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. But at the same time, this is all I've been really doing,
Yeah.
you know? So it fits so well. But then there's so much more to like, find into, I mean, it's still, what is the word?
Well, I think like what we've talked about is like the finding the balance between doing the song that that everybody knows, and then finding the way for you to do it that's you.
Right.
Yes.
That's it. I mean, that for the live show at least, that's a thing. And then also like in the songs that we were writing, like the earliest stuff when M first came in, we were just still exploring like sounds and like figuring out what types of songs. So some of them sounded very much like not Linkin Park. Some of the stuff that we were working on, and she would like, she'd sing on some things, and they'd be, the challenge is like, what's it supposed to sound like almost?
Yeah, like when you mentioned 2019 when we started writing, it was not necessarily for Linkin Park at all. Like you were working with so many people, and I was like, oh, I want to work with more people. That was a time for me where I was like, I want to start becoming a better songwriter, and then those songs don't really sound Linkin Park for some reason. But then when we got back in the studio, things started to really sound and take shape. And then I think that was the point where we were just kind of like, oh, this is cool. There's
something here.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question.
It's like a thought. It's like a little in the back. It wasn't necessarily something.
So when did everybody know? Like, what was the moment, or what was the thing that you realized this is a Linkin Park thing?
Oh, there wasn't like one.
There
moment.
wasn't?
No. It just really slowly got there. Just the same way that it slowly became the six of us. Like there were other people in the room, and then there were fewer people, and then there were like, then we were just calling Emily and calling back.
Yeah.
It just evolved slowly.
Did you have to have like a secret meeting where everybody put like a ballot into like a hat or something, like a vote?
There was a time, but there was a time
is there an
when
initiation? Like what happens?
there was a time when
in,
I was like in my mind, I was like, this is working. Like
Yeah.
there's no question that it sounds great. It's the best stuff we're making. It's the most fun we're having. Like I could tell. And then it's probably like a week later, I was in the room just with Joe and Dave, and I think it was Joe that was like, hey, is it me or like is this a thing? And Dave was like, dude, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Like these two are awesome, and we like that chemistry is special.
Yeah,
I was like,
and you got to
good.
have that.
Yeah, I was just like, I wasn't feeling like, let's see if these guys like can tell the thing that I know.
Right.
It was more like I have a feeling, and I don't want to put it in anybody's head. I want to just wait and see what happens. And it was very, it was unanimous. Like even Brad at that point was not super in the mix when that conversation happened, and he gradually got in the mix later. Actually, he kind of dove in. Like there was like a moment where he just like showed up, and everyone was like, "Oh, Brad's here," right?
Yeah, Brad's here.
He very much like made his appearance.
Yeah.
It
was amazing.
And we were like at East West, and he had just like we had these conversations and stuff, and basically he came in. There was one day in particular where he came in and met Emily, met Colin, and it was almost like those like blind dating, like those speed dating things where you like sit down with stuff. I've only ever seen it on TV.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
What's that? What's the show that we were talking about back then?
Blind Date?
Wasn't
No.
Down for Love? It was the other one.
Oh.
Love on the Spectrum.
Love on the Spectrum.
Love on the
Somebody on
Spectrum.
Love
So
on the
good,
Spectrum
yeah.
goes on the blind date thing. And they sit at the tables, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is so awkward!" But I think they have chemistry, but it's super weird. Like, it was like that. Like Brad came in, it was like, "Oh wow, this is really awkward. This is very strange. I think it's good, but it's really weird."
Well, I just want to say, because I want to talk about like, okay, so that's how we got to this point. But as a fan, I'm super happy for you guys. I feel like it was a weird personal thing because I never thought there would be another evolution of Linkin Park. I thought that was kind of like you'd be going and doing your own thing, everybody doing their own thing. But it's like when someone goes through a really bad breakup or they become widowed, but they find love again. And then you're so happy for them because you weren't sure that was going to happen, And so that's the best way I can equate it. But I'm super happy for you guys watching the show at the Forum. You guys were just having the best time, and it was really awesome to see. And I'm glad you guys found each other. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy for you guys. Everybody here is happy for you guys. And
Appreciate that. Thank
you.
And it's the next chapter. Now, this is a good time because I'm a professional like this. This is a great time to
What a
play the
segue.
first song that we got to hear with you guys together from the new album and the Emptiness Machine. What can you tell us about this song?
It's in the key of.
The tempo. A good thing to know is that it was an early demo. That like it was all the things that we just talked about. Like I think the song preceded most of that. Like I don't know if I wrote the original demo before COVID or just after, but it was in that era, in that range. Probably after, I want to say. And it always just stuck around. It was always just like, yeah, this is like we almost didn't put a lot of, as we were working on all these different things, we didn't spend a lot of time on this one because we knew it had good bones and it didn't need a lot of work. And then as we were wrapping up the record, we were like, okay, now's the time to like look at this song as how does it fit into the record? And it's probably an important one. Like people started to say, oh, this might be the single. So it was around that time we decided to structure it the way we did, which is to put my voice for the first third and Emily's voice for the second third, and then the two of us kind of going back and forth on the last, because it just felt like the best way to introduce someone. Like if you're gonna, you're at a party, you want to introduce your friend, like you say hello first, and then you introduce them, and then you all talk, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
always a decision what single you're going to lead with when you have a new album. Imagine this is a whole different level of like, oh my God.
It was like the most stressful
Yeah,
thing
it's
in
gotta
the
be.
universe.
Yeah.
I don't
Well-
know how you felt. I was like, God, I hope this works.
We just listened to the Emptiness Machine, and so this is where after the announcement is made, and who's this person? I mean, I've heard the name of the band, Dead Sarah, but I wasn't really familiar with the music. And I'm like, so I started looking up Emily Armstrong. Who is this person? And then I went to the show at the Forum, and I'll admit, I went in there not quite knowing what we were getting into. And I heard you guys maybe were like, okay, let's see how this goes, right? And so I got to tell you, like, I was so impressed by you, and I left there, I'm like, done. I'm convinced. There's a number of people who were with me at that show, and I was like, you're fucking awesome. Like, you are so good. You have such a presence, but I also thought it was really nice because you were very classy and respectful of the moment. Like, that was very obvious, because people I don't think knew what to expect or how things were going to be handled or whatever, but you stepped into it, and man, I don't know how you don't blow out your voice like every night. Is there like some kind of special technique? Like, do you know how to do the scream in a way that other people, like, is there any kind of like trick to it, or you just have this ability?
Yeah. I've been doing it for a very long time.
And you've never the next night, like, well, it's not happening tonight.
Well, if I'm sick, it's usually the worst.
Yeah, if you're sick.
But when I'm not sick, I just take care of it,
Yeah, because you were amazing, and I thought
Thank
you
you.
were really great, and you definitely fit right in. I mean, it's super obvious the minute you guys hit the stage. So, how did you keep that secret? I'd imagine, like, if I had big news like that, I'd be telling. Did you confide in anybody?
I did.
Yeah?
I just basically didn't drink. Is what I did.
Did you
What
threaten?
I didn't do.
And how did did you threaten them? Like, how did that? Like, I mean, look, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who can't keep the smallest secret, let alone a huge secret like this. So I just want to know, how'd you guys pull that off?
I mean,
see, she doesn't talk. That's good. She
exactly.
knows.
I just didn't hang out as much. I mean, I was really
Yeah.
busy, and I was just trying to get like used to it and being like, okay, this is my world now, and I gotta, figure it out. And I think with more and more time, it was easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew that, okay, give it a few months, Emily, and then you won't be able to be so chatty about it. And at that point, I was like, I kind of like just not being around my friends as much, and like, because I'm gonna tell everybody.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
not because you don't love them; it's just you don't
No.
want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess anything up.
So I told a few people, and then of course they told people, and then I was just like, okay, and then I can't tell anybody because it was
Right.
on me, and then I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
And so with that, like the guilt of it, that'll stop you.
Well, I mean, it's so hard now. I mean, everything's digital and instantly everything gets shared.
Yeah.
But you guys did a bang up job. I mean, some people can
Yeah.
take some lessons
Yeah.
on how to keep
Absolutely.
a secret.
Yeah.
But like, so how has everything changed for you though? I mean, like when that announcement happened, I'm imagining everybody that you've ever met is now blowing you up. All the people in your life blowing you up. But like, just in your day-to-day life, has anything changed? Do you feel differently? Could it, like, you're more recognizable because there's, obviously the stage that Linkin Park holds is.
Will you
course.
tell them about the grocery store? After the
Yeah. It was like the day after. And
Do you shop at Do you shop at Gelson's now because you're in Erewhon? You know what I mean? Like, you
definitely Erewhon.
You go
yes.
you go to the nice places now.
I always went to
No more?
Erewhon though.
Yeah, okay.
She'll to know one thing that to just give some like background to that. This girl will be like, she won't spend money on 100 different things so that she can go to Erewhon.
Yeah.
Like the budget goes all the way to like health food and like
And then,
stuff
and then
like that.
$26 watermelon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely like weird, like a day or two after, like going to the grocery store, not Erewhon, and the girl was like, is your name Emily? And I
Did you
was
do
like,
the scream?
yeah.
Yes.
And I had like a hat and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have grabbed the PA and start yelling through the store.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Oh my God!" And then she was telling everybody in the store, and I was like,
Ladies and gentlemen,
"Fuck."
check stand 5.
Yeah.
Emily
This is the new
Armstrong's here.
singer. This is
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
singer. And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. I mean, because
This is fun.
It's still so fresh. You guys like made the announcement. You did the announcement performance, and then you did the forum thing. And you guys now have been traveling all over the place doing shows. Now we got a tour.
We've done 1.5 laps around the planet
Yeah.
now, and that's not an exaggeration.
No, I know you.
We
Yeah.
just got home.
I was gonna say, yeah,
It was
you
a
were just-
lot.
Yeah. So you haven't even really had time, probably even to kind of sit and be with it since it happened since it launched.
Yeah, I mean, when I do, I realize it's just like, oh, it's nothing. Things obviously have changed, but they, like, I still feel like me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, there's nothing, like, day to day, it doesn't feel different.
Yeah, not overwhelming because I
No.
mean you're so comfortable, and I'm because you are a performer, like you can get on stage and you can do that. Not everybody can do that, but like
And
just
I'm not
in
20 years old. I'm like, I've
Yeah,
been
but-
around the block.
But I'm saying you look super comfortable in that spot,
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, to M's point, like, it's one of the reasons why I think she could fit in with
Yeah.
everybody is because she's done it for a long time and
Yeah.
knows, like, she's a seasoned professional. Like, she hasn't experienced playing a headline show in Paris, like, in front of that huge stadium, but she's played, you know, that whole thing about having 10,000 hours of experience to do things. Like, she is well over 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Doing shows, writing songs, like being a performer. So it's not, you know, we already knew like that we were in a good spot, like in a good position to be like very comfortable and know like.
But it's
going
cool
out-
flying
going
on
on
private
stage
jets
feeling
and
good.
stuff, right? I mean, that's pretty dope.
I still fly economy.
Yeah. See, you're really not spending your money. Not even like
I'm the
economy
rookie
plus,
here.
like the extra 6 inches of leg
Actually,
room
no,
or
that's our
something.
call though. We just stick
Yeah.
her in economy.
Yeah, right.
Everybody, Colin
Yeah, yeah.
even. Colin's like, I don't really feel comfortable back there. He's
Yeah.
like, we're like, that's fine, Colin. We'll just put Emily in the back by the
Yeah.
bathroom.
I'm
Save
looking,
some money.
It's what
Right.
I'm used to, too.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
where
Yeah.
I'm most comfortable. So.
Yeah, it's like Tom Hanks slept on the floor after he got off the island in Castaway because that's what he was used to, right?
Dude, the amount of photos that we were showing each other of us taking pictures of each other asleep in
Yeah.
strange places, like
Yeah.
on floors and on this past
Yeah,
last
yeah.
couple months.
That's
It's
dirty,
really-
by the way.
It was
That's-
like
that's
it's
dirty-
not.
that's
It's
dirty to do
there are
something that
glamorous.
way.
There are glamorous parts, and then there are parts you'd be surprised at how not glamorous it is.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing my favorite one that I took, I showed them. They hadn't seen it. When we were like waiting around to do the we played "Heavy's the Crown." It was like one of the themes or theme song for the League of Legends Worlds. They're like it's their World Series event. Their big like Super
Right.
Bowl event, and so we. Our song was the thing and was the thing for the event, and they required like they did like two days of like rehearsals for this thing with tons of downtime. We're just sitting around forever and ever and ever, and then we go play for 3 minutes, and then we go back to the dressing room and sit around for hours. And at one point, M is like cuddled up. They gave us like these little gift bags of like their characters, plush, like stuffed animals of the characters. So she's got her hood up and a beanie and this little stuffed animal, like a
Aw.
9-year-old. She's like this, and Colin has managed to fall asleep with his head on a wooden end table.
Yeah,
Like he's chosen to not
Yeah.
put his head on the couch. but it's-
Flat down, too.
it's
Not
just
up. Flat down.
right on the wooden, his face on it. I was just like, these guys, he's gonna be in pain when he wakes up. And
Yeah.
I got a couple pictures of it.
Hey man, when you're tired, you can pass out even in economy. It can happen.
Oh, I do have a story before you.
Great.
I thought of something.
I love stories.
You
Go
said,
ahead.
"Do you have any good stories?" I said, "No,
Yeah, no.
I don't." And then now you started talking.
We were telling a great story here on stage while the song was playing. Can't even talk about it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's that good.
That was I can't.
You
yeah.
saw it. We were having a great time.
Well,
But-
I was not aware that was your like kink, but it's
Yeah.
dude.
We all have
that's
them.
great.
We're up
That's
here-
good for you.
we're up here to
good
share.
For you. Good for you. I don't think everybody needs to know about that one.
No.
So on Heavy is the Crown, we had this idea for the scream and the bridge, and it was like going to be this long thing. And for hardcore Linkin Park fans, I did time that moment. Like I literally pulled out the timer. I was like, "How long is this part?" It's about 17 seconds. Okay, because that's a thing. That's a number in our kind of like lore, in the lore of Linkin Park. But we did it, and I should say we wrote it and we like planned it, and it's like, okay, here's how the part goes, and then Emily gets in the booth and she's like, okay, I think I know it. I'm gonna get this on the first take. And I was like, okay, all right, go for it, big guy. And she totally did. We did a bunch of takes of it. We did like a whole bunch of takes, but the first one was the one.
Wow.
And it ended up being like just shy of 17 seconds, and it was like 16 and a half. It was just shy. And when we went through the different takes, the longer ones actually didn't sound as good. Like it was weird when they kind of ended over top of the next vocal. And so keeping the shorter one that was nice is it was like, in a sense, it like respects Chester's 17-second scream. It's like, yeah, that one's still the long scream. But by the way, she can kick ass too. That was kind of like what I was hoping for with the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you keep that in mind, like just in general, like when you're on stage or you're doing certain songs that were, Linkin Park before you joined Linkin Park? Like, is that something that's conscious that you're thinking about? Like when you're singing, these parts, like people, they'll say, oh, well, that's not her song. It's a Linkin Park. It's Chester, right? Like, is that something like where you're trying to? Like you said, make it your own.
Here's okay. For
Definitely make it your own. Yeah.
Yeah. First, that's actually you go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about that because I have a different thing I want to say.
Okay.
I mean, it really depends. Like on the show that I'm playing, I feed off of more of the crowd, what's happening at the time, and try to keep it. Every night is a little different. And I feed off the crowd. In that sense.
And in addition to that, though, what I was thinking is, like, in terms of Emily, we just want Emily to be Emily. Like, the songs are the songs. Emily is Emily. Right. And if it were, there was a time early on, like 2020-ish, 2019, whatever. Like, I remembered I was like watching videos. I was just, I think a video of like a cover band, a Linkin Park cover band showed up in my feed. Fans were loving it. They were all like, "Oh my God, this person's so good! Like they sound so much like Chester." And I was watching it. And have you ever heard of Uncanny Valley? You know what that means? Yeah,
you're shaking your head. Yes.
So Uncanny Valley, it's usually applied to like CGI. Like think of like Carrie Fisher in Star Wars. Okay. She passed away. They did a CGI version of her. You look at it on the screen and you're like, man, that looks almost exactly like a real life Carrie Fisher on the screen, but your brain knows the friggin' difference.
Right.
Your brain doesn't, and so that's the Uncanny Valley. It's like your brain likes it better and better the more it gets more real and close to the real thing. And then the moment before it becomes exactly as real, the moment before that, your brain goes completely the opposite direction. It goes right back down to, I hate it, because your brain can tell that it's trying to be tricked, and nobody's brain likes that. It's like almost like a lizard brain Neanderthal reaction. You can't control it. So when I was watching this YouTube video or Instagram video of this like cover band, I was like, that's really cool, and it's also creepy. That it sounds so much like Chester. I don't like it. Like it weirds me out.
Yeah, it has to be different. It has to be different enough.
It made me immediately know that wasn't the move for us. Like I don't like it.
Really
I like it for them. I just don't
exactly.
Like it for us. They do those. There are actually multiple bands, like a dozen, cover bands. They do a great job, but it's not. I wouldn't want to put that in our band. That'd be very strange.
No, and I like what you guys have done, and the people are always going to have something to say, right? But also, like, there's a bunch of bands who, whether it's Sublime or Stone Temple Pilots, like these guys, they have to move on. This is their life, their career, their art, and so. But you fit in perfect. I'm telling you, I went to that show and I was sold immediately. I think you're kick ass. Well, we do have some questions, some people that everybody wrote down a card, whatever. So the first one's not even a question; it's more of a statement. You were asked to submit a question. These are this is like. And it even starts, no question. I just want to thank you for everything you have done over the years for us, Mike, and welcome to the Linkin Park family, Emily.
Thank you.
So nice.
Nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
And we'll start with a question for Emily. Emily, what has been your favorite part of joining the band?
We already talked about economy. I think the traveling with everybody, Yeah, I love that.
You think that's fun?
I love it, yes. Yeah. And getting to play shows and seeing everybody has just been such a dream. It's been so surreal to like see it. And there's one thing of being in the studio and writing the album and being so immersed in that, and then to see it come to life when you're out in front of people, and the energy is just so it's hard to like take it all in
Yeah.
at once, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I get to bring bands out on stage,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I could see they don't care about me at all. They're excited for the band I'm about to bring out, but I can see when you're looking out at a stadium or an arena full of people, you know, that's got to be almost like a drug, you know, where it's just
Absolutely.
you get this crazy energy and you can just feed off of that. Is that something you think about when you're writing songs? Like, how is this going to play live? Or is it just like, all right, well, we're going to do this, and if they like it on an album, we can make it work live?
I mean, we're in a weird. Our historically, I think that we write stuff that like we want it to be good on the record. Like Linkin Park has written a lot of things that once it comes time to translate them to the live show, it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And we do, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of extra work to like figure that out. And other times it's just like, well, this is just a rock song. Like it's like bass, drums, guitar, and a vocal. So it, you know, naturally works really well on the live stage. That said, I think that like the way that everybody in the band is actually both past and present, they all love a good live show. Like every one of us is like, when you see somebody who can just like pick up an instrument and play, you're like, oh, so good, right? It's rare that I see something that it's like a laptop and a vocal and I'm like, wow, that moved me. It happens though. It does happen. It's just more unusual. So with that said, like I think for us, taking those songs, you know, taking them to the stage is a blast. It's one of the best things we get to do.
there are songs like when we're recording like Two-Faced, we're like, this is going to be so fun to play live. I
Yeah.
can't wait. This is a
Casualty,
live song.
yeah.
Casualty. So you just know right away when you're writing it, you're like, this is going to feel so good
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
The bridge,
Yes, yeah.
bridge of Two-Faced. We were just like, oh boy.
Oh, can't wait. Yeah. So there are some that definitely.
It's like a DJ working up to a good drop.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so fair enough. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, but I mean, because it was cool. Like the show, it's the first time in a long time I've seen such an intense, passionate pit. Like you don't see a lot of pits anymore. They'll say, "Oh, we're selling tickets in the pit." That's not a
You're
pit.
going to the wrong shows, buddy.
Hey, well, you get to see it every night of your shows. I could name some
Every
names
show
if
I
you'd
go
like.
to.
Some shows I got to go
Every
to,
show.
but yeah. So what was?
of death,
We
bro.
do have another question. It has to do about touring. This is from.
Wait, can somebody, before we do that, these guys, people talking about the pits over here, what is the story with the guys sitting on the floor doing the rowing thing? Have you seen this before? Is there a name for that? No, it's the row.
No, just the rowing.
There's this like Viking. It's
Yeah?
like Viking rowing
It's
thing.
teamwork.
It's team. We
Oh.
call it the teamwork.
Is it kind of like the rock or metal version of like a line dance? Is that kind of like what you're talking about?
That's what I'm going to call
Where
it.
everybody's just kind of joining in and kind
Line
of
dance.
Yeah, it's
version
just
of
a
the
bunch
same
of
thing.
just a bunch of Harvard graduates
You're right.
just sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah. It's called a rowboat. All right. All right. So what has been the? This is from Bob. Where's Bob? Show. There he. Oh, see right here in the popular section. What's been the best part and what's been the most challenging about touring again?
okay, so it's like the best part for me is I think as the more we play shows together, like the more everybody locks in, and we rehearsed a lot to get like before you guys saw that first show.
Yeah.
We did a longer, more intense rehearsal period than like by a multiple, longer and crazier than we've ever done. And it can only get you so far. Like playing in front of people is really the only way to really experience it or to get good at playing together, because it changes once there's people in the room. So doing that and getting that experience, like we're all, I mean, everybody they can't stop talking about how grateful we are for being able to do it. The hardest part is just that it's like
Adding a new song every night.
it's been like the schedule and changing things and traveling and moving with that pace. The pace has been fast.
Yeah.
So that's
Constantly on the road.
yeah. Well, we keep adding and changing the set. And it's a lot for our little tiny brains to process.
Well, there's that. Plus, you have all the visual elements, everything else that's going on along with. So it's a lot to not just changing a song or moving.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's guys coming out with like lights on their head. And they're moving stuff around, and that's got to be coordinated. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in charge of that.
That's-
Outset, we
I
should have
think the
done that
hardest.
Rage Against the Machine thing where it's just one light bulb.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
just
right,
a
yeah.
band.
That's
That
it.
was a big misstep.
All right, one more question
done that.
from the crowd. Aside from music, what is the most important thing, Emily, in your life? Like, how now that you're so busy and you're traveling everywhere, like, how do you cater attention to that as much as you're doing for your new job with Linkin Park?
What? What's the question?
What's the most important thing in your life?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess they're asking outside
Okay.
of being in the band, outside of music, and then how do you balance that now with like this insane schedule and going around the globe 1.5 times?
Well, it's interesting because my life leading up to this was still like very work mode, right? Like I was always constantly trying to be better, trying to make it, trying to, you know. So it's like now that this is happening, it's still like my brain, my mind, my mindset is very still focused on that, right? And so at the same time, I get back home and I'm just kind of like, okay, kind of just twiddling my thumbs, just kind of like, okay, how do we, this is literally all I want to do.
Yeah.
So
Are you a pacer? Like, do you like find yourself pacing around the house? Like if you're not working, like you can't if you're not working, you don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, I go on a lot of hikes.
Yeah.
Dude, I was hoping you made that connection.
do.
In my brain, I'm like, she's 100% a pacer.
Yeah.
She just doesn't pace in the room. The room's not big enough.
No, I go on hikes.
She
I think
leads.
that's the answer. I think
Yeah.
I love to be in like wilderness and stuff. And
Yeah. And then Mike, what about you?
I can be a little bit like that. Like I do. The band used to make. I'm better about it now than I used to be. The band used to make fun of me, or be even sometimes concerned because I just always need to be doing something. I need to be making something. I need to be active. Like, and so lately I've been trying to be better about like taking some quiet time and letting my brain turn off, which is healthy. So, but right now it's not very much. That's not easy to do. There's a lot. It's a really busy time, and it's a great time to be busy. So I haven't been shutting off. I'm sure there'll be a point where we can like take a step back, and I think you're getting us at a weird time because we haven't had any time to reflect.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
like no.
there's
That's what I was saying.
none
Like, you guys made the
I don't
announcement, you
have
just
5
stick around.
minutes.
You
I don't
guys
have
out.
5 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
Like there will be a point
Right.
when we can do
Exactly.
that, but right now is not it.
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys just made the announcement, and boom,
Yeah.
It's been busy.
off to the races. Tell us about Two Face.
I think it came. Did Brad and I, maybe Colin, write the guitar and do the demo? Like you weren't there when we started that one.
No. You were like,
she
I
was
have an
she was
idea.
yeah, she was in the mix. She just wasn't. I don't know if you were away. You'd been like on a trip or something, or if we just said, "Oh, we're gonna do this demo, no vocals yet. Like we're just gonna work on music today." And Brad, I think we kind of just done Casualty, and we were like, "Cool." We set the like this is the heaviest thing on the record is Casualty, but we want another like guitar-driven song that's like loud and fun to play live and things like that. And I had this idea. I was thinking, the band's DNA existed before Linkin Park. Like if you go back, I mean, there are demos of our band Zero on the internet, and that's when it started with just me and my friend Mark, who I've been friends with since we were like 13. And then Mark and I did a bunch of demos, and then we brought Brad and Rob and Joe and Dave into the band and played a bunch of shows with that configuration. Those had a lot of that like bouncy rap, rock, new metal, blah, 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 all that stuff in it. And so when we were doing Two Face, like part of the idea was like, okay, like what would happen if we do at the time like 2023, maybe 24, no, 20, I don't know, somewhere in there, 23 version of Zero. And that's what I ended up doing.
These are the pants I wore in the music video, by the way.
It's crazy. Like we're sitting here and listening to this, and you hear you hear that just that
Hot
aggro
take.
aggression. Like, and then you look over and like she just looks so harmless. She'll kill you. Like, but
like
you
that.
consider
What-
yourself like a happy person. Like, is this like your outlet? You get all that, like,
You see,
kinda,
you seen
Exactly.
the Marvel movies with the little cat?
yeah.
What's the cat called?
yeah.
Lurkin? Flurkin.
Flirkin.
Like you
Yeah.
don't
That
know
sounds
what
made
lies
up.
It's called an
beneath.
Emma
Flurkin.
Lurkin.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you're good, right? I mean, you know, everything's cool, and you're happy. She's smiling. It's like
cool
next
until-
thing you know, it's like, my God,
Cool until it's not.
that's awesome. Well,
Until you start
Hey,
yelling
man.
at me, man.
yeah.
Be on good behavior is
You're
all
gonna
I'm
s-
saying.
You're gonna see it before I see it, my
I
friend.
mean-
You guys spend a lot of time together, and it's not
She
gonna end
might
anytime
not point
soon.
it at me is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, touring the world, coming soon to a city near you, the From Zero World Tour, and good luck.
We got
with
tour
everything.
dates up on
What's that?
LinkinPark.com.
LinkinPark.com,
We got tour dates up. A whole bunch of them in the United States.
yeah,
I
and
see a
From
lot of
Zero.
Dodger
Yeah,
hats and things. We'll be doing a Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, playing Dodgers, which is
I'll
gotta be
see you
great.
there.
Hometown show, right?
That's right.
Born and raised in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah. But anyway, thank you guys, and good luck with everything. Emily, I am so happy to meet you, and Mike, so happy for you and the guys. And this is such a cool thing. I think it's the perfect. I don't know. You talked about the chemistry and how everything just worked. As a fan, I can feel it, and I think everybody else here does too. And good luck with everything. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. Linkin Park, everybody. Mike Shinoda, Emily Armstrong. Thank you guys for being here.